Hello everybody and welcome to Gingercyde Plays Minecraft Pocket Edition. I am Gingercyde and this is the first video in our update overview series, and tonight we are going to be going over versions 1.8 and 1.9 of Bedrock Edition. They were split into two updates for some reason, and as you can see on the screen it is beta. So let's just dive right in with the new stuff and go over all the new updates. So as you could see coming in, the loading screen is new. There's a new loading bar that kind of updates, and here's a picture of it on the screen now. It's just kind of a nice addition, so it's not just a boring Mojang screen. It has some animation to it. Then the main menu pops up, and as you can see, we are on version 1.9.0.3. But the backsplash is still for the aquatic update and hasn't been changed yet like the Java version to show the new villages and the new background. So we're kind of still waiting on that to see kind of, even if we get that, which I'm assuming we would because it is the village and pillage update and is coming out around the same time that Java is. But so far, Bedrock has not received the same buildings as we're about to see. I'll pull up the map here real quick. So here's the world. We're here by a village, and as you can tell, the buildings are still the same. But in the new one, they're all completely different, and they all have pretty much a nice purpose. And this first row of blocks over here will kind of show that each building will have kind of a purpose. So let's just dive right in and get started with the new update and what was added. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the cats versus the ocelots. So as you remember in prior updates, the ocelots were the wild version of cats. So now we have the ocelot spawn egg and the cat spawn egg. So cats now spawn in villages as stray cats. So you come here and you just find them and they're just roaming around. Here's one up here running around the church. There's quite a few that spawn in the villages when you first show up, but I mean, I've had this map for a while, so most of them run away. But there's that one, and there's one over here. Here's one that I've kind of tamed so you can kind of see. There's 16 different variations of the cats now. And like the wolf and dog collars, you can dye them. You can kind of see under this cat's neck that it is now green instead of the standard red. I mean, now he's going to be running around. But cats nowadays will bring you gifts. So when you have like a pet cat, they will bring you gifts at night and during the day. I'll put a list of what the gifts are down in the comments. I read a list of them, but I forgot to write it down. But I know it's like rotten flesh or other kinds of meats. Typical cat gifts, I guess you could call it. So now that we have cats that spawn in villages, get off of there, the ocelots themselves are no longer tameable. So when you find them in the jungle, you can't turn them into cats. All you can do is feed them, and then they will trust you. So I'm still not 100% sure if they will fight for you once they trust you, but cats will continue to fight for you. They'll fight creepers, and with the new updates, they will fight phantoms. So if you're not a huge fan of phantoms, always keep your cat around, and the phantoms will no longer swoop down and attack you, which is something I'm really looking forward to because I was not a huge fan of the phantom update. One more thing about cats is they are found in witch huts. A witch hut now spawns with a black cat. So if you want a black cat, you can always go find a witch's hut and you'll have pretty much a free black cat. You just gotta tame it. So let's move on and kind of go over these 9 new blocks that have been introduced. They're all new like tables and interactive blocks that were added in 1.9, I believe. Yes, 1.9 update. So, quick overview. They are the Cartography Table, the Fletching Table, the Blast Furnace, the Smithing Table, the Smoker, the Barrel, the Grindstone, the Bell, and the Lantern. So first off, we have the bell. Just 2 stone pillars and then the bell in the middle. There's no word on what it's going to be yet, but I am predicting that it's going to be kind of placed in buildings or around the town as a warning system for when raids are going to happen, because we now know the pillagers are going to come through and raid villages. I'm assuming it's going to ring whenever kind of pillagers are in the area, so that villagers can know to take shelter in houses and kind of prepare themselves and not get killed. The Grindstone actually has, on Java, has a GUI that you can click on, and we now know that it is used to de-enchant and repair items. I think it's just weapons right now. So you can put your enchanted items in there and it erases all enchants on it. And it, obviously, if you put a broken sword with a less broken sword, it's going to make a even less broken sword. Here we have the Cartography Table, which we know is about maps. So there's kind of a globe right there, and some other stuff. And I don't know, really, there's no word on what it's going to be yet. But I'm assuming it's going to be about making maps or making treasure maps, which would be kind of cool. You can hide treasure and leave your map somewhere. So on to the next, the Fletching Table, which is one of the 2 blocks that currently have a recipe, which is right here. And it's just kind of the crafting table and an arrow. I don't really know what it's going to be used for. It might just be used for dipping your arrows in the potions, which would kind of take it away from the original crafting table and put it over here. Here are the lanterns, which I really enjoy. They do emit more light than the torches, and they just, they give a better feel for like caves, like street posts like this, or just in general, they're better aesthetically. So with the chain, as you can see, this one right here, it doesn't have a chain on top, but once you connect it to something, the chain connects to the block above it, but it will not connect to the block behind it. So if you're going to hang it, you got to hang it from above, and you can't just hang it from a wall. It won't connect back, which I was kind of hoping for, but it makes sense as a lantern to hang from the ceiling or be put on a table. So here we have the blast furnace, which I'm assuming is going to be a more effective way of cooking things, or it's just going to use less fuel is my best guess. And then along with the blast furnace, we have a smoker, which what do you use for smoker? Like smoking, you put food in it. So I'm assuming it's going to be a more effective way to cook food. So you can put like your raw meats, your raw beasts. None of these are clickable yet, so we can't be 100% sure. That's just my guess. Over here we have a smithing table, however you want to say it. And it has the same kind of texture look as a crafting table, but I'm assuming it's just going to be more of a focus for tools. Again, we don't know what it's going to be, so that's just my best guess. Lastly, we have a barrel. Rumors have been going around that this is going to be for fish storage. So, you have like buckets of fish. I'm assuming that you're going to be able to put them in the barrel and transfer live fish to other places. So you don't have to keep one in a bucket. You can put multiple in a barrel. So these are the first few items that have been added into the game. Currently they don't have any use, but in the new updates they each have their own house that they spawn into. So like the library, there's a blacksmith, so we know the grindstone goes with the blacksmith. There's a cartography house, there's a fletching house, so each one will have its own special house that will randomly spawn in the villages. Moving on here, we have 2 new flowers in the game which add dyes, so it changes the dye. So the 2 new flowers are the cornflower and the lily of the valley. So the lily of the valley just looks like a droopy white flower. Then the cornflower it essentially looks like a red poppy, just blue. So what they do is the cornflower now gives you blue dye. Instead of using lapis as your blue dye to change wool into blue, clay into blue, you can now get cornflower and change it into blue dye. And same with Lily of the Valley, it now has white dye, which these are the 2 new items. And so you don't have to use all your bone meal for dyes. You can keep it with your farms and your trees. We also have black dye and brown dye, which are 2 new items, and they've kind of gone away from just having cocoa beans, ink sacs, bone meal, and lapis as your dyes. But if you don't have, say, you can't find any lily of the valleys or cornflowers, you can still use lapis, and you can still use bone meal for dyeing purposes. The thing that I don't really like is to get black dye, you have to use ink sacs. And to get brown dye, you still have to use cocoa beans. So it's kind of just a second step to get this next dye. So, I mean, it's really up to you how you want to do that. But blue dye is now not such a late game item because lapis is kind of harder to get because it requires deeper mining. So now you can just go and find blue dye out in the wilderness. What are the next items? Stupid cow. One of the next items that they introduced was signs for every wood type, which, as you can see here, we got oak, dark oak, acacia, spruce, birch, and jungle. So this is a thing I've been waiting for a while because, I mean, every other item has been getting their wood variants such as trapdoors and doors. So the signs are going to be nice to use. Mix it up, not just use the oak, especially when you're building around spruce or just with different wood types. You don't have to use oak and have it kind of mismatching. So those are kind of some of the new items, but I mean, we still have a ways to go. So for these next few items, they're all block slabs, stairs, and walls. I'm not going to really go over much of them. I'm just kind of show you the textures and move along. So the first we have here is smooth stone. So it just looks like stone, and except it looks better for like walls, castle walls, etc. There currently isn't a recipe, or it isn't obtainable in survival yet on Bedrock. I can find it in the creative menu right here, but once I switch into survival, it is not obtainable yet. So I don't know what the recipe is going to be, but as you can see, we have the smooth stone slab, which is a new name. It used to just be called the stone slab, but now it has smooth in front of it. So that's there, but when you double it up, you can see that line there in the middle. But now they've just kind of added the smooth stone block, which takes away that line and kind of gives it a little bit of a darker outline. So it's going to be a nice little change if you don't like that line sitting in there in the middle. So really, it's just personal preference, but I do like the smooth stone block. This block I still find, this is one of the useless blocks that I find. Smooth quartz. As you can see here, quartz versus smooth quartz. Quartz is on your right and smooth quartz is on your left. There's visually no difference in them. They have the same texture. They are essentially the same block with just a different name. So I find it useless, and I'm kind of curious to see what they use it for, because there really is no difference between quartz and smooth quartz. So these next two, they're the same with just red and not red. So smooth sandstone and smooth red sandstone. So smooth sandstone just kind of gets rid of the block look and just makes it a sands looking brick that doesn't fall when there's not a block placed under it. And then same with red sandstone and smooth red sandstone. It's just a smooth version of the current sandstone block that we have already had. So to me, they look really great. I don't use sandstone very much, but I can see uses for them in future builds. Alrighty, ignore these blocks here. So now we're moving on to slabs. So they added a lot of slabs. There's these 2 rows here. So I'll kind of just go over them real quick. So we have the stone slab, which is half of just the normal stone cut in half. We have the cut sandstone slab, which is a version exclusive. So it's just going to be on Bedrock. Java is not going to get this. You just take the normal cut sandstone, which is right here. and just cut it in half. That's really all it is. Then you have the smooth sandstone, which is what we just saw previously, cut in half. Then we have the another exclusive, which is the cut red sandstone, which I don't know. I'm not gonna look for it, but it's the same as the cut sandstone over here, just a version exclusive only for Bedrock. And then again, the smooth red sandstone over here, we saw over there, is now a slab. So we have the red nether brick slab. Looks pretty nice. I don't use it personally, but for those who are, it's right there. We have the mossy stone brick slab now. We have the mossy cobblestone slab. Look good. They'll be nice for builds. Now these, so we have the granite slab and the polished granite slab. We have the diorite slab and the polished diorite slab. And we have the andesite slab and the polished andesite slab. So those are all blocks. I'm not a huge fan of any of these. The polished ones look okay, but I'm not a huge fan of them, using them in builds. And over here, the last slab that they added was the end stone slab. So now, just kind of moving along to not have this video go on forever. We have a lot of new stair additions. So the first one we're going to show here is the end stone stairs, which we obviously know the end stone comes from the end, and it's just a nice little addition. We move along over here. We finally have gotten stone stairs. They look awesome because now you can have your mine shaft that goes straight down. You can have stairs that aren't cobblestone, so it kind of matches and blends in. Here we have smooth sandstone stairs, which look great. Over here, the red smooth sandstone stairs. Moving over here, I keep breaking everything. Let me hold the sword so I don't break anything. Here we have the smooth quartz stairs. Again, they look identical to quartz stairs. So you pull them in here and put it right next to it. Literally no difference. None at all. So now we have the granite stairs, polished granite stairs, diorite stairs, polished diorite stairs, and then the andesite stairs, and the polished andesite stairs, which I think the polished versions are going to look good on builds for roofs or something along those lines. But I don't really see much use, me personally using these as much. So again, we have the mossy stone brick stairs and the mossy cobblestone stairs. So you can make your stairwells look kind of run down or grown over with the rest of your build. The last stair they added was the red nether brick stairs, which again, I don't really have much use for them yet. I'll try and use them more in future builds. So now we have the walls. I haven't really used walls before, but now that we have many more options, I think I'm going to start using them and see what I can come up with in future builds. So we have granite walls. There's no polished granite. There's no polished andesite or diorite. It's just the rough version. So there's the diorite, how they look, and then here's the andesite. Over here we have sandstone walls. There's no smooth sandstone yet. I would imagine it might come later. And then the red sandstone walls. Over here, as you've seen along the whole top, we have the brick walls, which would look nice outside a bigger mansion or estate style house. We have prismarine walls, which I really don't have a problem with them. They don't look good outside many things, but they're there if you want to use them. Here's red nether brick walls. Again, I've just never really seen use for them because they're kind of a weirder color, but they don't blend in with much. So there's those. We have end stone brick walls, mossy stone brick walls, which you can make walls now that look run down, and stone brick walls. I was kind of disappointed they didn't have like a mossy cobblestone brick wall, but I guess they just, my bad, I guess they already had one. So yeah, they already had the mossy cobblestone, so it wasn't necessary to be added. So those are all the new bricks, slabs, stairs, and walls that they added in 1.8 and 1.9. I'm pretty sure all of these are added in 1.9. So 1.8, if they do it before, is going to be kind of a littler update, as you'll see in the description below of what's added. One more thing that they did add that I really did like was the fact that a cauldron can now hold lava. So instead of just doing your typical break a hole in the ground and put lava there so you fall in all the time and hurt yourself, you can now put it in a cauldron, which is a lot harder to fall in. Like you have to be really good about getting in there, and which I'm not going to worry about. But it is now my personal choice for a trash can. You can just break blocks. If you can make it in, I guess. Oh, well, I broke it. But you can throw bricks in there, and it's a new trash can that you can just get rid of bricks and not have to worry about them anymore instead of falling in. It's just a nice alternative. It actually looks like a trash can. And yeah. So, like I said, there's all those bricks. And so now we're going to move on to the new biome that they added, which is the jungle bamboo biome. Here's kind of a preview of what the bamboo looks like in its younger stages. So let's go ahead and jump on over to that biome and kind of explore all the new stuff they added with bamboo in that new biome. Alrighty, so here we are in the new biome. It is the bamboo biome, I guess you call it. They spawn in jungles. It's a new jungle edge biome, so they're usually on the edge of jungles, and they just kind of mingle with the trees and they grow up. So bamboo, it's actually a pretty useful addition to the game. Kind of go over in a little bit what it can do, but before we get too far, let's acknowledge the pandas. So this panda is eating currently. They sit up and they eat, and they can lay on their backs, they roll over, and they do all sorts of kind of funny things. So let's kind of go over what pandas do. So pandas, they eat bamboo and cake items. So you can feed them bamboo, which obviously does the mating part of things. But when you kill a panda, it'll drop a bamboo. I think it's 1 to 3 typically. I'm not 100% sure on that. And so the pandas will have 4 different personalities. And if you go online, you can hear the different sounds that the 4 personalities will sound like, so you can kind of get an idea if you're that invested. I didn't really listen to any of them yet, but the 4 personalities are lazy, aggressive, playful, and worried. So each one will spawn with a different personality. It's just probably going to be random. There's not going to be much to it. I don't know. They're a peaceful mob. I don't think they attack unless provoked. But even then, I don't know if they attack, because I was playing with them earlier. But I think the aggressive ones might be more willing to attack. But I'm not 100% sure on how that goes. There's not much information really out on them that I could find yet, but if I find information, I will put it down in the description for you guys to see. As you can see, here's one laying on their back. So all pandas are black and white, except for they have a rare brown variant. I spawned one in, but to save time, I'm just going to put a picture right here on the screen so you can see what it looks like. It's really rare. It took me about 300 pandas spawned in to get one. So, I mean, I killed most of them off. Obviously, did not have tons of lag over here. But they don't do anything different. They're just brown. They still spawn with one of the 4 personalities. And really, they're just kind of a nice new addition. They don't really add much to the game. But they're just pandas. So if you like pandas, there's pandas now. So now kind of getting back to bamboo. So bamboo is a block. I mean, if you break it, the whole thing breaks. And with bamboo, you can craft sticks and you can craft scaffolding, which scaffolding you can see over there, and I'll go talk about that in a second. But bamboo can grow up to 12 to 16 blocks tall. But if you grow it with bone meal, they will grow 1 to 2 blocks taller. I'm not sure why that is. That's just the way the game was programmed. But if you are in creative or you're just in survival clicking blocks, you can see here that you can make them go as tall as you want, up to world limit, of course. This is about 120 blocks tall, so kind of fun. You kind of do it and you just break it and have it rain bamboo for a while. See it disappearing. So yeah, you can't hear it, but they're eating right now. Alrighty, some other things. You can grow bamboo on grass blocks, dirt, sand, mycelium, podzol, coarse dirt, red sand. So those are the main blocks that you spawn them on. Other than that, they won't spawn. You can use bamboo in furnaces actually, but it takes 4 bamboo of these sticks, pieces of them, to smelt 1 item. So it's not really the best fuel source, so I wouldn't really waste them on that. I would more use them for scaffolding. So lastly, you can put them in flower pots if you want them as a decoration. I'm not really going to go into what that looks like, 'cause, I mean, it's just what you see now in a flower pot. So moving on, let's go talk about scaffolding. So scaffolding, we all know the old way. We get our dirt blocks out and just make stairwell up or tower up, and then we continue our build. But now we got beautiful scaffolding. This is by far my favorite block of the game now, just because it actually looks like a construction site and looks like you're actually building. So the recipe for scaffolding is on the screen right now. It's just going to be 6 bamboo and 1 string, and for that you do get 6 scaffolding. I don't know what the single form of that is, but you get 6 scaffolding items. So this is going to be kind of a more rare item, since jungles themselves are rare, so the bamboo forests are going to be rare. So that's kind of sad in my opinion, and I'm definitely going to be looking for these early on. So I mean, let's take these out so I can go up there. So Pocket Edition, at least, once you go, so you can put them up, and once you get in, it's going to give you this button over here, and that just lets you climb up. So you gotta be, it's kind of getting it used to like what level you're on, but if you're in one, you're on the one below it. Then you can go all the way up, and you can just place, go up, place, go up. You can crouch and then play us off to the side. So you only can go 4. Is it 4? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 away from a tower, so one of the pillars, before they fall. So every 4, you have to have a new pillar. So there really can be 8 in between pillars. You just have to do 1 further away, if that makes sense. And then scaffolding, like bamboo, when you break it, it breaks everyone attached to that pillar. So it's a nice quick cleanup. You don't have to worry about breaking each one like you would the dirt that most of us used to use to get back up to our taller builds. So I'm really excited about scaffolding. It's going to be a nice addition. It'll be cool to see kind of the progress of your build. It looks like a real construction site, and I don't know, I'm just super excited to be using these in my survival builds when this update is released officially. So that's really all there is to talk about, except for one thing. This is an important part. So the bamboo forest is actually a 1.9 update item. So if they do end up releasing a 1.8 and a 1.9 version separately, 1.8 isn't going to have bamboo like this at all. You're going to have to find them in chests, like in shipwrecks, etc. And jungle temple chests. I guess Bedrock, that's the only way you can find them. Java has shipwreck supplies. So the only way you can find them in 1.8 is through jungle temple chests, which is going to be very sad because it only comes in stacks of 1 to 3. So it's going to be a very rare item, but you have a 50% chance of finding them, so that's pretty good chances. So I heard also that you can fish for them when you're in a jungle biome. So you have to be in the biome to fish, and you could have the chance of pulling it out with your fishing rod. But in 1.9, this is added, so I'm really hoping the 1.9 update isn't too far behind the 1.8, if they're different at all. Sorry for my little timer off to the side there. So that's all there is to see about the jungle the new biome, and the new mob, the panda, and the scaffolding, all of which are really nice additions. So let's go ahead and head back to the main village, where we'll finish up talking about pillagers and kind of show a pillager raid, which are very scary in my opinion. Alrighty, so we are back here where we started in the main village. As you can see over there is all the blocks that we just talked about. So you may have seen at the beginning this little path over here, which is our next area. This right here is a pillager. They carry crossbows and pillage and raid villages. That's their main purpose as a mob. In the Java edition, they have beasts attached with them, which I don't believe the Bedrock edition is going to get because of how hard it is to kill them. They are pretty strong. They're mini bosses. So I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't come to Bedrock at all. One of the changes in the 1.9.0.3 update or patch was they changed the size of the crossbow in their hand. So it looks a lot bigger, which is almost more intimidating to me. So the Pillager is a subset of the Illager, which is found in the Dark Oak Forest mansions. They do have 24 health, so they're not really hard to kill. I mean, about 3 hits with the diamond sword and they're gone, which is, it's not terrible, and that's an unenchanted one, so not crazy. So they obviously wield crossbows, as you saw, and they are programmed to never ever wear armor, which is nice because that, I don't know, that's just scary in my opinion. So obviously they carry crossbows, which is another new item that has been added into this game. So obviously here's the crossbow. They are slower than bows, but they are stronger. So I'll kind of show you an example. So in Pocket Edition, you have to cock it, and it kind of shows you the animation down in the hotbar, and then you can kind of walk around with it. You don't have to shoot it right away. Then you just tap, hold, and it shoots. So that's kind of nice, and it's just a nice new update. I will put the recipe right here on the screen so you can kind of see how to make it. So with the crossbow, there are 3 new enchantments. The first one is multi-shot, which I felt was going to be a little overpowered, but after using it, and I'll show you here in a sec, it's not crazy because the shots do spread out after a while, but it does shoot 3 shots at once, and it only uses one arrow. As far as I'm concerned, that's what I've been reading. So it shoots 3 arrows in 3 different directions and spreads out the further it goes out. Our next one is piercing. Piercing online, it says it shoots through mobs. I haven't been able to really see what this does. I kind of shot it at a mob, but I didn't see it go through the mob, so it's kind of hard to tell what this one actually does. As you can see, piercing, it goes up to 4. Multi-shot is just 1. It's like infinity. And then our last one is quick charge. This is pretty much a faster reload option. It pulls back and it doesn't fire quicker, but it reloads quicker. So I'll go ahead and show you what each one does here real quick. So this is the piercing. I don't see any mobs. I guess I can just shoot it at a villager real quick. You can kind of see. I guess, yeah, see, you kind of saw how it went into the ground and not just into the mob itself. So that's going to be a nice addition if there's two mobs right behind each other. So here's the quick charge. You'll see how fast it pulls back versus that. So it's just a quick pullback. And then multi-shot. This is the one I was talking about where I felt like it was going to be overpowered. And you can see how it shoots 3, but it definitely spreads out pretty quick. So if we're back here, you can see where they go. So it's about 2 block difference at that range, and it can only get worse at further distances. So with these enchantments, you can only combine multi-shot and quick charge, or piercing and quick charge. You cannot do piercing and multi-shot because that would be rather crazy in my opinion. So that's the crossbow. I think they're really cool. The new enchantments on them are going to be nice. I don't really know if pillagers will have enchanted crossbows or not, which that would make the raids even crazier. So I'm going to go ahead. So I'll spawn some more villagers, so they're right here next to us. We'll kind of do a little mock raid, because as far as I've read up, they spawn in groups of 5, and the leader has a banner attached to his head. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spawn a couple in. I'll spawn 3 in and just kind of follow them around, and you can watch what they do. They move quick and they take down villages pretty quick in my opinion. They killed about 15 villagers in about 3 minutes on an earlier raid that I was testing out. And I only had about 4 on that raid. So, as you can see, I think a bell would be a good option to have to like ring as you guys are coming forward. Because they won't stop until they pretty much kill every villager that they can find. So as you can see, they're going crazy. Eventually, if they don't see anyone, they're just going to kind of wander. But what I do like about the pillagers is when you spawn them, first thing they do is cock their crossbow and they get it armed and ready. I mean, and they team up on it, and they get 3 versus 1 right there. So yeah, they're going to be a mob to be reckoned with. They're going to put up a fight, and you're going to have to defend your village. Now if you decide to set up camp here, probably build a wall or 2, or I don't know, you're just going to have to definitely prepare for a pillager rage. And if you have the beast, I don't know if you've seen the beast yet, but go ahead and look up another video on those. They are crazy and scary, and they do some damage, and they destroy crops and other blocks. So if you want to see what those do, go ahead and look up a Java 1.14 update version video. And so just to end the video here, I kind of do want to talk about some of the things that they didn't add into Bedrock that Java is getting, which they might update Bedrock later in 1.2.0 or 1.9.2 or 1.9.1 or something. The third update to the Village and Pillage update with these blocks. But the wither flower, and there's a picture right here on the screen, it adds the withering effect to any item. So you can put it on your sword, you can put it on seeds, and then give the seeds to a mob, and if they pick it up, it adds the withering effect to them. Or if you hit them with your sword, they start withering. I think it is an awesome little flower. It takes wither bones, which you can get through wither skeletons. It is a very cool flower. Again, you can look those up on 1.14 videos. The Pillager beast I just talked about, I wish they would add it, but at the same time I don't, because Pocket Edition, it would be kind of, the gameplay is a lot different, so it'd be a lot harder to kill, because you got to use your 2 thumbs instead of your one hand and your other hand. You're only using 2 thumbs to kill it, and it's a strong mob. one of the last items I wish they would add in here is something called the love potion, which, as you can imagine, it just triggers the mating part of each mob. So if you throw it on 2 cows, those 2 cows will enter their love making mode and spawn a baby cow. And it works on all the mobs, and it really is just a nice thing because you can get villagers quicker that way. I don't remember the ingredient you need for it, but it's just a nice addition, in my opinion. And then 2 last blocks that I kind of wish they would add. It has to do with the new bamboo. So Java has bamboo blocks and shaved bamboo blocks. Here's some pictures of them. The shaved here is on the right, and then the normal bamboo block is on the left. I think they look really great. You could build like beach huts or something related like in that arena with them. And if you put them on as a base to your scaffolding, it strengthens them, so you can go further out than you can with just your normal scaffolding like this. I think you can go 8 off 1 pillar or something, I don't remember, but I think they look really cool, and it's just a nice aesthetic block, like, it looks pretty. But other than that, that's really all the other blocks that I could think of off the top of my head that I really went through on the 1.14 update through Java. So that's 1.8 and 1.94 Bedrock. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to leave a comment below about anything I can do better in future videos, just let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.